Hey everyone, welcome back to Reality with Reality Hub. We just had a great recording with our good friend Marwin Silerio.
It was so good to have Marwin back. Such a pleasure. I mean, I just love chatting with Marwin.
Yeah, he's an actor and a PT, physical trainer, personal trainer at Les Mills, and he had a lot of really interesting things to say about the new year and people getting back into the gym and what it takes to make change.
Yes, because it is still kind of the new year. Goals and mindset and all that cool stuff and evaluating where you are at life and interesting, really interesting.
And evaluating yourself, which Marwin's very open about, which is really cool. Enjoy the show and please welcome to the studios Marwin Silerio. And Bombshell.
I saw that.
Oh, with what's her name? The Aussie chick, Margot.
Yeah, with Margot Robbie and Nicole Kidman.
Oh, Nick, there's two Aussie chicks.
Well, Nicole Kidman's Aussie.
Yeah.
She's in Aussie. She's True Blue.
It's truth, mate. True blue Aussie.
She's still kicking, eh? Good on her.
Yeah.
Nick.
She married well.
What are you saying?
Well.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah, didn't she?
What's wrong with Tom Cruise?
Oh, well, who wants to throw the first stone?
We're not recording, are we?
We are.
Don't you want to win your show?
Can you close the door, Marwin, or just pull it to a little bit? We'll just as it touches the material.
I am a huge fan of.
We get a bit of airflow.
Fan of the Cruiser.
The Cruiser.
Although I do worry that Top Gun Maverick is a little bit outdated in terms of the climate of things, state of things. Depends what tack they go on the film, right? What angle. What choice they make.
If you're because Maverick, well, not Maverick, Top Gun. It's the Air Force.
Yeah, but you think of the 80s iconic film was timely. It was muscle.
Well, yeah, but it's timely now.
It was action, is it?
Yeah, we just invaded. They just we're not New Zealand. That's a bit weird, eh? Just saying we. Yeah, because they're our allies.
Because you.
Who
Yeah.
did we invade?
Oh well, Trump just killed an Iranian fellow.
Oh, right.
It's a bit
Yeah,
sad, isn't it?
general.
We.
That general from Iraq or Iran? Oh,
Iran.
I say it like it's a bit of fun, but actually it's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible, bro.
Yeah,
Kind of like a rehash of the whole, is it coming back around again, this whole conflict?
Well, according to the astrology and the stars, we're seeing shifts in the astrological bodies that are similar to that prior to World War One. So
This is true.
Yeah.
You know
What do you
that,
mean?
Mum?
Say that again. What do you mean? Here we go.
Well,
The clearing of the throat means something's been real.
Well, yeah, no, we caught up on a podcast called Veritas with Mel Fabregas, and how do you do it, Rob?
Well, you did it really well, actually.
You do it.
Welcome to the Veritas. This is Mel Fabregas.
Yeah, that's how he sounds. Welcome to the Veritas. So we're selling turmeric and CBD oil.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe and join us for, whatever.
Anyway, on one of his episodes, he had an astrologer on.
Right.
Who was talking about events leading up over the next sort of year or so, which was interesting. But what was also interesting was the events that took place just prior to World War One starting. A similar set of astrological
alignments and planetary influences.
Just coming up now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you, Marwin, what do you think of astrology?
I read it with a grain of salt, with a pinch of salt. Some of it can be very vague for me.
Yeah.
For me. And it just happens to be every single time I read something that is from Cancer, I'm like,
because you're a fellow Cancerian, John. That's right.
Are you Cancer?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Jesus, get a room.
Just like Tom Cruise. Yeah. Born on the 3rd of July, I believe, the Cruiser.
Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, Cancerian.
Cruiser.
The Cruiser, yeah.
What day were you born?
14th, which is
No way.
Bastille Day.
No way.
What way?
I'm 15.
Whoa.
Wow, that I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Cancerians are ruled by the moon, which has a feminine energy. Obviously has an impact on this planet. So sensitive, we can go through different moods and cycles, intuitive, feminine water sign, elementals. You got to get into the feeling of what are planets and their influence and their energetic vibrational. So I know what you're talking about. The the horoscopes we read in magazine stuff
Yeah,
are just
the Woman's
are just-
Day.
Yeah, just superfluous. But
They're
astrology,
shit, aren't they?
but when you get into the science, I mean, NASA needs to know what's happening with planets and orbits and everything, right? As a pure science to figure out what they're going to do with satellites and what they're going to do with, we were talking about Interstellar before. Or
Yeah.
So there's a real science to it. It's the oldest science around. What do you call it? Looking up the stars and star systems and
Yeah.
So I'm not an expert, but I'm intrigued by it. I like it.
I do. I've got friends who always talk about, like Blair, for example.
Yeah.
Always talks about, it makes sense because you're water, and I'm like, oh, what does that
Yeah,
mean?
or
Like,
fire
you're
signs.
you know?
sign.
Yeah, definitely. My ear is open.
Stephanie
And there's-
Toavihi had a terrible influence on him when he was at Shortland Street. She was really into it. Then-
Who was?
Stephanie Toavihi, the actress.
Oh, right.
This is a little bit of gossip now.
I hope I haven't said it.
Are we going down that path of being this gossip?
Yeah, well, we kind of are. So, but speaking of the stars, Matt McConaughey was very good in that movie. What was it called?
Interstellar.
Interstellar.
So good.
Wasn't that a mind?
Murphy.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
great.
I was going to say mind fuck, but
It was. It was great. I loved it. I loved the scene where he was sort of in the bookcase.
Yeah. What is it? Fourth Dimension?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a good scene. I loved it. And you're just
Yeah.
like, he's knocking on the
Trying to get to
bookcase,
them.
like, just keep me here, Melv.
I need to watch that film again because the first time around you're just following the plot, the structure.
Yep.
Whereas second time around you can pick up on all those little things that you missed, I reckon.
Yeah. The
right.
score on that was so good.
The score.
Yeah.
The music.
Yeah, it was
No
so
kidding.
good. Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
He's a legend.
Just drop it. Well, I'm a Hans Zimmer fan. So,
He's iconic.
yeah. Funny. Yeah, right. What have you guys seen on Netflix recently?
The Messiah.
It's so fucking self-indulgent. Like,
What do you mean? What do you
I'm
mean?
up to the third episode and I just had to tap out for a while.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, I was like, the way it's repeating currently where I'm up to is he does something, people in the world record him, and then the next 20 minutes of the show is that recording played out for someone else's scene in another part of the world. And then the investigator, she watches it on social media, and then someone else is going, and it's like, if I could just fast forward to the moments where he does stuff, where the plot is furthered, I could reduce that show to about 10 minutes.
That's an interesting thing because I thought the point of it was because it's a new age, right? And this Messiah comes, and the information about him, or at least the exposure about him, travels so fast due to social media and everything else right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's something that maybe, I don't know, isolating.
Well, they express that rather well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay, I've seen Messiah. I've seen it come up on Netflix, but I haven't watched it. I don't know anything about it. What's it about?
It's a Middle Eastern man appears on the radar of news networks and all sorts of things because he turns up to events and says this is not what God wants, and it's a time for peace, and we're in a new time now. And during the course of him talking to crowds, they think he's crazy, and then they think he's the chosen one.
Right.
A dust storm turns up in the opening scene, and in a later scene, he addresses a group of people, and the police are after him because he's managed to escape custody just by meditating, and he disappears off the security footage.
Right.
And then he finds himself in other countries, or we find him in other countries doing certain works. And it's like, oh, he's a modern day Jesus. But he doesn't look like your typical westernized version of blonde Jesus. He's probably more historically correct.
Jesus,
yeah, that's
yeah,
it. That's the way to put it. Black hair, played by a Belgian actor. He looks sort of Arabic.
Belgian?
Yeah, he's a Belgian actor. But that's not to say, that's like saying he's American, but he could have Irish ancestry, right? But he's a Belgian actor, but he looks very
Iranian.
Iranian, maybe that's the way, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of Middle Eastern.
Okay, so Messiah from the Hebrew word Mashiach. I've stuck
Oh,
that
you
up.
sound just like they do on the show.
Mashiach,
Yeah.
which means anointed one. I was just figuring. I thought the messenger, right? Something to do with. Obviously, there's a religious connotation there, and the return of the Messiah, the chosen one, kind of thing going on.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I was interested in seeing how the story develops because, like, it is a new age kind of Jesus.
Yeah.
And the thing is it a fraudster or is it a real gangster, a real Jesus? So I'm like, I wonder how.
What do you mean? Is it the Antichrist?
Yeah, or whatever it may be, I just want to know how they unpackage if he truly is the Messiah, and what does that look like in our world?
Yeah, interesting. Good point.
Yeah. Wow.
Right. So who's reading? Anyone reading at the moment?
Reading.
Are you guys reading any books or anything?
Yeah. I've sort of just completed a Brene Brown book. Yep.
Oh, you were talking about her on the show.
Daring Greatly. So all about we talk about this on Reality Hub as well, about being open and vulnerable, and that's your strength and that's your courage.
Yes,
and that reveals...
I love Brene Brown.
Oh, you love
Brene Brown.
Great.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I binged the YouTube videos.
Oh, cool. Because
that's awesome.
Because she, that's where she sort of became quite well known, because she did a TEDx.
Yep.
What do you call it? Presentation, and she was just completely open and vulnerable with herself, and it just resonated with the audience. It was something. Wow. Okay.
What was the title of the book that you're reading?
Daring Greatly, which is from, I recall an ex-US president coined that term. I can't remember. I'm useless with like presidents and.
Really? Because I thought presidents were your thing.
Not my thing.
Okay.
But yeah, that was the inspiration of a famous speech, and so it's interesting because it's a bit like, I always use the analogy, when you fall in love, someone's got to be vulnerable and open first, right?
Yeah.
And the more you're open, then the more you can allow in, but you also allow the bad stuff and all the negativity and I found her stuff so interesting. Yeah, because when you shun off the things that you're vulnerable to, you also withhold certain pockets and nuances about yourself, so you can't fully be authentic. Yeah, it's kind of you're standing in your truth, and a lot of people just put up the armor and put up a version of themselves. It's not quite true, because being vulnerable means, okay, you're showing yourself who you really are. Being open to be hurt. Rejected. Am I good enough? All those things. Yeah, exactly.
I think, if memory serves, wasn't it Theodore Roosevelt who
said, I was going to say Roosevelt.
I think I've got this one committed to memory. I think he said, it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong the man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. I mean, that's just from memory, not from the website I'm
That's
reading
great. Yeah, great memory there. You could have even done it in the style of Roosevelt. Being the actor that you are.
It is not the critic who counts, nor the man who points out. No, I don't know if I know that's how he's
time traveled.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I was so
you feel like you're there, right?
I was there.
Yeah.
But that's the point. It's not the critic who counts, the armchair critic. When you're in the arena of life, you're putting yourself out there. It's easy to just stand on the sidelines and go, oh, blah, blah, blah. That's what that's about being brave and showing your truth and jumping out into the arena of life.
Daring greatly.
Be the own. What is it? Joe Rogan talks about this all the time. Become the hero of your own life.
Be the change you want to see? No.
That's Gandhi.
Yeah. Be the change in the world you want to see.
Be something. Yeah. Welcome to Murdering Quotes on Reality Hub. Yeah, nice.
Great.
Right. So what else is new, guys?
Well, Marwin was talking about something really interesting, about you were reflecting back on your life, and something about data. What was it? Data.
Yeah, so I've started up writing in a gratitude journal ever since the new year clicked on, and I found it so interesting that when 2019 ended, I just found that time flew. I was like,
I did as well.
What happened? You
There
know?
was some kind of time weird thing happening there.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to make an effort to start logging in, data on how my day is. And I thought, what better way than a gratitude journal? Trying to figure out what makes me happy, what makes me unhappy, learnings and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've done it for the last 2 weeks straight and went out to PR today to just read it. And then I just wrote down certain, I guess, topics or themes like career, money, health, family, friends, and just wrote, started tallying down on each day how many times career made me happy, how many times did friends make me unhappy. And then I was able to get an overview on, look, I've got 10 marks on career and then 5 marks on friends make me unhappy. There's something going on here. So then I can take that data and figure out how I want to take on the next week. It keeps me on track. It keeps me, I know exactly where I am and where I need to go. Because I was speaking to Rob before we started, is that I've lived all my life in the moment.
You're right.
Somewhat I just go with the flow.
From moment to moment.
Moment to moment.
Not really assessing things like that.
Not really. Like things, what may come will come and I'll react or / respond accordingly.
Yeah.
But that kind of take can only get you so far.
Right.
Until those patterns will always bring in the same exact results.
So are you going to be, removing a few people off Facebook this week?
I don't know about that, but definitely I'll take into account where my attention goes.
Yeah.
So that's like a self-evaluation.
Yes.
And it's interesting that you use the word data. It's like that's like collecting information on yourself. Yeah.
It's
Data.
funny. My friend had an analogy that he was like, my body is a machine. In order for me to perform well at the job that I want to do, I've got to treat this machine well.
Yep.
Right food's got to exercise, It's the same thing as habits, I find. Like, that is what my output is.
Sure.
I need to know that data in order for me to, continue to move.
It's, I mean, because you're a personal trainer, you would view that in that way as your body a machine and how it's functioning. What am I fueling it? And you're assessing its performance. Yeah, what am I inputting and what am I getting out of it?
Yeah.
And how can I change that in terms of getting increased performance?
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're evaluating.
Yeah.
Well, I know I asked you this before, but what was the old habits die hard? I missed that when I went out of their own. That sounded interesting.
Yeah. So other goals that I had was, managing finances. That's been always a big one for me.
Sure. For most people.
Yeah. And what was it? Old habits die hard. Just things,
Things that you spend on.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Yeah.
And they always just seem to creep up. You'll get traction and then they'll dip down again. I've figured out this year that motivation really runs out. You can't rely on motivation at all.
Yeah.
That's a wave, isn't it?
Yeah.
The things that, a great quote by James Clear, we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems.
To the level of,
systems we put in place.
That's
self.
so then systems are the habits.
It's about disciplines then.
Yeah.
Because you bring that up, it's still kind of relatively the start of the year, and we talk about this whole New Year's resolution thing, setting goals. You being a trainer and everything, you must get a lot of people coming in at the start of the year fully amped, fully motivated. I'm going to lose that 5 kgs. I'm going to do that Ironman.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, and then they'll fall off the wagon, right?
Yeah, because I think what happens and what I come across so often is that you're so motivated come January the 1st. You use all that motivations to do more output. That means you've only gone to the gym once every 3 weeks. Now all of a sudden, January 1st, you start going every single day for 2 weeks. And that is your output. And then all of a sudden the motivation dies because that's what naturally happens, right?
Yeah.
Motivation doesn't stay there forever. And then you fall down to what you're normally used to.
Yeah.
So what I incorporate with all my clients is that you don't use that energy for more output, use that energy to build habits.
Yep.
And those habits are small, daily micro changes.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the gym 5 times, especially if you weren't going even once a week. 30-minute walk is fine. one clean, healthy meal a week is fine. A day is fine. It's not about more output. It's it's the input.
So it's looking at the long game, isn't it?
100%,
the long term.
100%.
Because you can go hard in the first few weeks and think you're doing high output, but then if it drops off completely,
Yeah.
then what's the point, right?
Exactly. No one comes up to me with a goal saying, I want to be fit and look healthy and have good energy for only 5 months. You know, no one says that.
Just on the weekends, just for the weekends.
Yeah.
Well, I remember the in the 2000s, around 2003, the Body for Life program.
Oh, who was Bill Phillips?
There was Bill Phillips,
Bill
man.
Phillips, yeah.
The Bill Phillips Body for Life program was a 3-month program. And when I did it, I had a massive change. But I realized, to your point, like, you know, no one comes and says, I want to do this for 5 days or whatever, or 5 weeks. I treated it like Body for 3 months because it was a 3-month program.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, I'm done now. No, this is it. Never need to exercise ever again. Funnily enough, all that weight went back on. No, but you know what I mean? I mean, I jest about it, but it was a little bit like you can be given a program, but not a lot of people think to what comes after that to sustain it.
Exactly, bro. If you want something for the rest of your life, it's going to take the rest of your life to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
It reminds me of those, what do you call them when you go to a seminar, like a self-help seminar or talk or motivation 3-day event or something, right?
So you're talking about Tony Robbins, and I'm not your guru.
But you go in there with and you absorb the information, and you're on such a high, and you're gonna ace these goals. But how do you practically keep that running on for the next 3 weeks?
Well, it's funny because Tony Robbins,
till next year, because you're on that high, you come off that high, and then oh, actually, I'm no longer surrounded by all these high-vibing people. I've lost the motivation.
Yeah. That's it. That's what they put.
You don't have a network. You don't have support. You're just on your own going,
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why I think that you should use that big motivation after you've come from an event like that or whatever high motivation that you've got. Instead of thinking, I'm going to be so ambitious and focus on this goal of becoming 20 kgs lighter, instead just thinking, using that energy to build those habits that you can do right here, right now. And then just continue to,
what do you
run on that.
I thought of a good name for it. Instead of being a motivational speaker, they should be a habitational speaker because it's about changing the habits. And he said himself, Tony Robbins said himself, one of the problems with being called a motivational speaker is that motivation runs out. I mean, I'm just sitting there, my jaw dropping to the floor as you were saying that, Marwin. I'm like, that's what he said, yeah.
That's so great, habitational speaker.
Well, he didn't say that. That's me. You can credit that bit to me. Thank you. Yeah. Hashtag copyright, trademark.
Got it.
Yeah.
Because that's a part of life. You go through ebbs and flows, highs and lows. You're having an off day. You're busy at work. You miss the meals. You miss the training session.
Yes.
You fall off, and then it's the next day you miss it again. And
if you don't have those foundations to fall back on when you do have those off days or off weeks, then you just go back to what you normally used to for the most part.
We had Ray Zahab on our current episode, right, at the moment, and he talked about happiness as a habit, right?
Right,
Yeah,
cool.
because it's the same. Emotions, you can be happy, and you're happy because you got a promotion in your job. You're happy because you just met this smoking hot girl, whatever. But it's temporary, so you got to make habit a consistent daily thing that you implement.
And
which is not to say you're always happy, because obviously you got to negotiate. But you're 51% positive, 49% negative. You're always just slightly adjusting.
Well, he said he was a glass half full kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool, though.
That is really cool. I've never thought it that way. I always thought, it was. Is that the same as saying it's a state of mind?
Yeah. I mean,
happiness is a state of mind?
It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So whatever you're thinking and whatever attaching your.
It's funny. I was, when we caught up with Jane.
Yeah.
To catch up with her, I used her bathroom, and on the bathroom wall was this long, thin poster, and it had a picture of Buddha on it, and it said, "Happiness is the art of not remembering bad things too often," or something. I'm murdering this as well.
Yeah.
It was the art of that's right. It was the art of holding pleasant thoughts, or
right
in your mind. And staying present with that feeling and that memory without letting other things interrupt it. No, I really murdered that, but it sort of comes from that meditation philosophy of holding stillness or holding one thought.
And then not getting dragged down the negative path, the vortex, and then this is bad, and then that's bad, and then...
And that sort of speaks to me, because when you talk about mindset, I think it's the discipline of returning to even though something really pissed you off, the discipline of going, well, I know that if I get pissed off, all I do is create this shitty scene or this situation, or I perpetuate an argument with my partner or something. But if I can return to a centered point of trying to hold true with being grounded and centered, I can let that wash past me, which is like meditation, right? A thought comes in and you let it go because it's not serving what you're trying to do.
Yeah. I call it also course correction. You realize you're going down that negative state. You are aware of it, you catch it, and then you adjust the course back to a positive.
Yeah. I think the vortex part is that's the really
downward
dangerous
spiral
part, when you start, and either way, whether it's a negative or positive, But I think it's also important that if you are, angry, you let that out. You smash a plate if you have to,
You're going to say,
you know what I mean? And if you're sad, you let that out. You let all the tears go.
You've got a large collection of plates, I've
got a large collection.
Yeah, cheap ones you can just go smash.
Paper ones.
Oh, paper. How dissatisfying.
But you're absolutely right, because it's not about you want to. Trying to think of the right word, but you need to embrace both aspects in order to go through the process. Because if you deny one aspect, you're denying, you're suppressing. I'm always happy. And in our culture, there's this whole thing about always having to be positive and happy. But that's, we've talked about this as well.
Yeah, that's a trippy thing, isn't it?
Well, you got to be
such bullshit.
It is bullshit.
Yeah, because let's say that it's better to be happy than to be unhappy, right? Let's just say we all agree that it's better to not feel shit all the time. Okay, just real basic. But to that end, does that mean that if you get angry, you should suppress it? Nah, you should work through it and find your course correct, like you say.
Yeah,
back to being sort of in a balanced state again. But people think I've got to be happy all the time, so then they do the wrong thing, which is they suppress their anger to have the outward appearance of happiness, and then they just bottle it up, and then they've not dealt with it. And then but that person says, well, but if I'm supposed to not be angry, what am I supposed to do with my anger? Well, get practiced at working through it quicker, I reckon. And so then, and I'm done. Good. Back to it. Because we all know people who hold grudges forever. Well, I don't anymore. Get rid of them. But
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of this analogy of about that. But when you hold on to something, it's a weight, right? It weighs you down.
Doesn't leave your mind. And isn't that part of the joy of the human experience? That you can experience the myriad of colours.
Well, you can be in a shitty place and find yourself laughing.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
You can see two sides of things.
Because we are living in a world of contrasting expressions. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Polarity,
you got it. Yeah. Yep.
So, Marwin, how's your superpower going?
What do you mean? What superpowers?
Well, last time you were on the show.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Jesus.
It was a while ago.
No, but last time we were on the show, we kind of, if memory serves, concluded that your superpower was knowing the state that a client was in so that you could adjust a session for them.
Your energy. Remember, you could read energy.
Done anything interesting on that lately?
Yeah. So I would like to clarify now. My superpower is definitely in my communication.
Yeah, right.
Whether that's communicating with my words, my body language, or energy.
That's right. Because I remember you saying it now. It was reading people.
Yeah. I'm super passionate about other people. I love being around people as much as I love being by myself. So how was it my superpower? It's so good, bro. I have really delved into my own self-development, and I've brought this word up so many times, just trying to really fine sharp my own habits. Therefore,
did you just say fine sharp?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome. Everybody #fine sharp.
That I love that. I've really started to, because when I first started personal training, it was always push, more reps, more load, push.
Yeah.
But then I started to go through clients who just weren't changing and just weren't listening, and I was like, what is happening here? I'm showing you the trough. Why don't you drink? And I was like, there's something that I'm missing. It's what comes first is the habitual change, right? What comes first is their behavior. You've got to figure out as a coach what triggers these people into action, and what is it in those micro changes that can help them drink the well of progress. So now I've had to really had to, learn how to develop, how to communicate from the mind. rather than just motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah, right. So you're taking in the whole person,
Yeah.
right? Not just the person that turns up to the gym, but the whole person.
The whole person.
You got to dig a little bit under the surface, see what's the rest of the iceberg that's under the surface.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And every single day is a purposeful day because of that.
That sounds really satisfying. You must get a lot of satisfaction out of the work you do.
Incredibly.
Yeah.
No matter how tired I am. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I get some tired days like this week. But being able to look back on my journal and the notes that I took on every single client that I had, I'm just like, wow, it's so fulfilling to be able to contribute. You know, to know that your contribution is making a difference.
Absolutely.
What was it? Dalai Lama? Dalai Lama once said, if you want to try and find your purpose in life, contribute to others. And I remember seeing that and I was like, so vague. What does that mean? Does that mean I just go down Queen Street and just give money out? You know, that doesn't feel fulfilling to me.
If it fulfills you and it's what you want to do, but yeah.
But it's all different now, isn't it? Yeah.
Acts of service, right?
Acts of service.
Yeah.
Contribute to others. Well, giving money out would be a little bit like that analogy of either giving out a fish or teaching them to fish. I guess if you're serving them, you're teaching them something to enable themselves.
Yeah.
But, you know, you just mentioned that you had a hell of a week, so a lot of energy out. How do you restore that energy within you? Being conscious and aware of your own body and your energy levels and et cetera. Is there a way you recharge? I know how I recharge.
Yeah. Sleep is a huge one.
Yeah.
I got to get good sleep, minimum 7 hours. Minimum 7 hours. Secondly, time to myself.
I was going to,
Yeah.
Have you got a disciplined bedtime?
Yes.
What do you hit?
I got to be in bed by 9. So I've got to be in bed by 9. And I got to be asleep by like 9:30. So sometimes I'll be in bed by but you know, I play with my phone. I like to look at YouTube. I watch so much UFC.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes and you're like, oh God, it's 10 p.m.
Yeah.
No.
And that can be a time
I'm missing
warp.
an hour.
Yeah. But yeah, secondly, there's time to myself. I love going out into nature. Nature is where my batteries truly recharge.
Yeah.
Right.
And airplane mode off. I don't want to talk to anyone. I'd prefer, like, going to the movies is another one by myself. Yeah. As long as I don't have to, no output from myself into anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I recharge.
Yeah.
It's got to be completely me time.
You got it. Yeah. It's good that you know that.
Interesting, because that talks to the episode that we just recorded before.
Because we touched on that. Yeah.
There were a couple of things there where we touched on knowing the boundaries, the disciplines of maybe not taking phone calls after a certain time when you're a freelancer. You could probably talk to these kinds of things. But one of the other ones, and you sort of touched on it before as well, is old habits die hard and the things that you spend money on. Rob has this idea, and it's a really good idea, that if you're going to become a freelancer, you should figure out as you transition into it how many months you can survive without an income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go from steady employment, a steady paycheck, right? If you
from a job
stopped right now, how long could you survive? Yeah.
Yeah, very scary. What do you think? What did you learn coming from freelance employed now back to freelance? What is that? What's a gift that you're going to take into your new freelancing chapter?
Okay, there was a trap when you're in a freelance mode that you don't have structure and discipline, right? Because hey, I don't need to turn up for work. I can go to the beach. So that's a temptation right there. You also feel guilty sometimes that you're not actually putting input into your finding work. 'Cause you got to hustle. So I was saying, if you're an actor or a photographer, you need to get work, right? You need to get some income coming. So you can actually take the good aspects of being in full-time work, the structure, the discipline, etc., having meaning, purpose, and then try and translate into the world of freelance. So everything that's sort of contra in your full-time thing, work, like lack of variety, lack of stimulation, whatever, you can then is almost the positive in the freelance, right? You can just spin it around. You do a 180 on it and finding what works for you. And I was completely realistic. Like, some people would hate the idea of being a freelance. Couldn't think of anything worse than being an actor and waiting on auditions and working for, a few weeks or a few months on a project and then having no work. I think other people would think the exact opposite. I think that's just heaven.
Yeah,
but
that's
I'm
right.
not-
And
yeah.
some people can't face it because of their responsibilities, that it's too much of a risk.
Yeah.
With the kids they've got to feed and the mortgage they've got to pay and all that kind of thing.
It's too much of a financial risk and stress, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I love the freedom.
I was just going to say, because it's freedom, yeah.
Yeah.
Because do you work just the mornings, or do you, when your clients, do you have to structure it? Does it vary?
Yeah, well, from 4 days out of the 5, I'm 6 to 6. And then just recently, over the last 2 months, I've told myself Wednesdays are half days.
Yeah,
So
I was going to say, because 6 to 6 is a long...
6 to 6 is long.
That's
But
a
don't get me
long
wrong,
day.
I have maybe a 2-hour break,
Yeah,
3-hour break
sure.
right in the middle
Yeah.
of the day. But it's a lot of output for
Yeah.
one-on-ones, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of output.
Your 6
for-
a.m. expects you to be 100%. Your 6 p.m. expects you to be 100%. But I've just plowed through 9 people before you, bro. I'm not the same dude anymore, you know? but
Okay,
it's
note to self when booking in with Marwin.
hey, that's just the reality of it.
It is,
Yeah,
yeah,
of
exactly.
course.
And
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
I smash Monday, smash Tuesday, Wednesday's a half day. That's where I do all my admin. I go to the beach, get center myself, analyze the last 2 days, and then come Thursday, it feels like Monday again. And then and then it's a weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the best thing I think about freelancing is you can make it work for you. Of course, it's
You got it,
different.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
different in
You're-
every industry.
You're your own boss, right? So you call the shots. So with that, you've got the creative freedom
Yeah.
to do what you want to do, but then you've also got the responsibility. Because if you just turn up to a job, you don't need to think about those other things. You
Yeah.
just turn up, clock in,
Yeah.
do whatever you do, and then leave and not even think about it and just switch off.
Yeah, I guess, that's
Yeah.
the luxury of being employed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the
Because if you're
stability.
hustling, I mean, I can imagine some freelancers that are just always on their computer, always fielding potential clients and just constant, they never switch off. They can get into that trap.
I was having a talk to my flatmate who's he's a Amazon consultant and he's freelancing.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. And he said the last 5 years I had sacrificed so much to work for myself. So it was health, dating, and a relationship. And he goes, those were the 3 things that I really cared about that I completely sacrificed to be where I'm at now.
Wow.
And he said I wouldn't change a thing. So there's certain things that you must sacrifice.
We
more
mentioned the
than
exact same word.
than you
Yeah,
would.
you'd be aware of those.
Yeah.
So he would have done that because he was so committed to making that work and getting to the whatever level of success he now has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Well, it is a sacrifice. I'm going to pursue a dream of acting. I'm going to LA, and that's it. I'm not coming back, And then,
So I think everything has to change when you go to make a major change in your life. If it's your body, everything has to change. Like the way you work now has to work to a timetable that allows you to fit time for the gym in. The way you eat has to change. The way you sleep has to change. Have I forgotten anything, Marwin? On that,
you're
like
right.
on the body front?
No, you're right.
Because I think the same
Exercise,
principles
nutrition.
apply to everything else. Like if you wanted to have more money in your life, everything about what you do has to change. It's not just what you do with money, I think. I think your personality adjusts to the new thing that you want, you know, because how can your personality not be affected by all the new habits you have to make?
Yeah.
And your personality is often centered around the habits you currently exhibit. Probably like if you like to just lounge around and play PlayStation or whatever, then if that's got to change in order for you to save more money or to put 10% more aside or whatever, then that part of your personality is kind of out the door. You might still be the same fun-loving guy, but you go, hey, friends, pals, just got to cut that out now, because I used to spend a lot of money on blah, blah, blah drinking, so now I can't. And I think when you change one thing in your life, you're actually changing, like one big important thing, you're actually changing everything to succeed at it because everything's affected by it. And this is where I think I've failed in some places because when you want to go and change a habit, like to spend more time at the gym, it's all very well to want that and get the gym membership or buy the equipment. But if you can't fit it into your day, it's just, and then you do it 5 times, like you said, and then never again.
Yeah. Well, people have great, sorry.
No, it's a tuning of priorities, isn't it? Like,
Everything has to
it's
change.
a tuning of priorities, and you only have 24 hours in the day. So, like, if you're super aware of your top 3 priorities, whether it's career, money, and a relationship, and all the other ones have to fall down a little bit, you better damn go full in on those 3 first. Get that done, so then you can start focusing on the things that you sacrificed.
Yeah. Yeah. No, God, that's so true.
Because like
Relationship.
my last year's priorities were fun, adventure, friends, and everything else, started to go down.
Yeah.
Money, career really just was, just in a
Just
repetitive
ticking
pattern.
along.
Yeah.
That's really interesting because most people talk about goals, but you're talking about priorities. And that's going to be different because you can set goals, but then you say, within my framework of here's my life where I'm setting these 3 goals, my priorities in this life where I can also allow them in is going to be friends, work.
Yeah. Well, your goals, I think, should be completely based on your priorities, and you should pick 3 that you should work on the most out of all time. I think there's 10. There is 10. Figure out where your attention is going to go, and break down those priorities into goals, and that's how you become more efficient at things. And that's coming from someone who was extremely inefficient. Always in the moment. It was just friends, fun, adventure, me.
Yeah.
You know? And now I'm at the stage where I'm like, okay, cool. I've got to tell my friends that, going out on the weekends just can't happen anymore for me. I've got to sacrifice that.
Yeah.
And if I have to sacrifice friends, then that goes into the firing line too. Because my top 3 priorities are most important right now.
What triggered this for you, this new...
I was first of all, I was always getting the same results for the last 3 years.
But was there a trigger, like some sort of realization that you just got to start focusing on your priorities and reevaluate? Nothing.
There was.
Yeah.
What he's trying to say is who died?
No one died. I think it was a spark of wanting to develop myself even more. I had an ex-client of mine who I caught up with coffee, and she's a leadership and mindset coach.
Ooh, what's her name? Can we get her on the show?
Yeah, Melanie Unstead.
All right.
And we just caught up for coffee, and then I told her about things that made me anxious, as friends would.
Yeah.
And with the skills that she had as a friend as well, she just gave me some certain tips. And I walked out of that room, and I was like, I feel different. And then, and then I took that into account, and life had little bit changed, And I was like, hey, can we catch up again?
Sure.
So we caught up. That was a 2-hour chat at her house.
Yeah.
And gave me some tips and stuff about, a relationship that I was going through.
Yeah.
And I felt like I entered a cheat code into my life. Honestly. And now we have a formal thing where I see her every 2 weeks for 2 hours, every Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. I tell her everything that's making me, anxious, any challenges that I have, the successes that I've had in the last 2 weeks. I get given homework. And honestly, I feel like, cheat codes in life. If I was working at a 50%, at a 30% rate before meeting her, I am now 110.
Ooh, wow,
yeah, I'm in a
that's great.
slipstream right now, I'm in a slipstream.
That's a great way of putting it. I love it.
Wow.
So
I recommend every single person get a mindset coach. It's just like having a personal trainer for your body, which I think everyone needs, especially if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But this time for your mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because your mindset is so critical. Everything.
So critical. It starts from there, doesn't it?
Yeah. I always say everything is won or lost in the mind. It's a battleground up there.
Love that.
It's a battleground. If you can train or discipline the mind to direct.
Love is a battlefield. Sorry, just reminded me of that.
But that's amazing that she's obviously very good at what she does, and she was able to just fire you up and it piqued your interest, and then you're off.
And I don't go tell people that this is what's happening to me, I just carry on with my life. And even then, I've had friends and other clients have been like, something's different about you. What have you done? And then I tell them about Mel, and they're like, give me a number.
Yeah.
And now she's got some of my clients and some of my friends. And
yeah, man, I'm going to get her number off you after
this.
this.
So great. Yeah. Do it.
But you're right, because you're a personal trainer, and we think, oh, okay, that's just the physical. We just train the body, but it's the mental aspect. It's the emotion. It's the whole.
It's the holistic view.
Holistic. It's getting the complete. Yeah. I think the good thing is now that you're catching up with her regularly, so you're accountable. Yeah. So it's like, okay, you're checking
and that's what creates that sustainability towards whatever that you're wanting to achieve.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Exactly.
When you focus on the whole thing. I always wondered what holistic meant. Even when I was a personal trainer, I was like, what do you mean by that? But it's only through experience now.
Where did you train? Where did you get your personal training degree, certificate?
NZIHF.
Shut up. NZIHF. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? You can't. I couldn't grasp that when I wasn't even thinking about my own mindset.
Yeah.
You know. I couldn't. You can't grasp something if you haven't gone through experience.
Exactly.
Same thing as like you've never been in love, but why are you talking about love before?
I agree. Yeah, I think you have to have the experience to talk. That's why when we
Definitely.
talked about freelance versus full-time employment, I have actual experience.
Yes,
hard-earned hours. In that both
yeah,
fields. So, and it's the same as a trainer. If you're telling someone how to squat, whatever, you've done it, or to perform an exercise, you've fully done it. You know what you're doing.
Yeah,
you've embodied it. You can share it, and
you wouldn't talk about something that you know nothing about, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't teach someone how to do an Olympic lift when I've never done one.
Yeah, exactly.
So what does it mean to listen to your body, Marwin?
To listen to your body means, very vague. To be in tune with it. Like, for example, when you're full, your body actually releases hormones to tell you that you're full.
Right.
But it's so easy to not listen to it. Same thing when you're hungry.
Ghrelin and leptin or something.
That's it. That's it.
Say what?
Ghrelin and leptin.
I'm not sure about leptin, but I think it's ghrelin.
Yeah,
because you have insulin, which is released when you eat foods, especially carbohydrate-containing foods, and then you have, I think it's ghrelin. Oh, I might be wrong, but there is a hormone, right? As you say,
yeah, it's either ghrelin or leptin. It's one of them.
And there's a relationship between them, and there's a relationship between that and even insulin. But often, what happens is a lot of people in Western society, because of the light and because of the food that we eat and artificial light affecting other hormones that keep us alert and so forth, we don't often release the hormone that tells us we're full.
Yeah.
We don't often have a proper relationship with that one that says stop eating. We usually have only a relationship with insulin that says, eat more.
Yeah, right.
So it sort of says eat more because insulin tells your body cells to take in energy, which then when you do that too often creates fat. And, that becomes a problem because then you become insulin resistant, which is then the path to type 2 diabetes and then full-blown diabetes.
Because I'm a huge believer, I know that there's an innate body wisdom, right? Because all these processes are happening subconsciously. We're not thinking about all this stuff that's happening. So there's an innate body wisdom, so you tune into that. So what you're saying is there's almost like a physiological, stop or to tell you that that's enough food. That's
right.
Because
There's
that's enough
system
to
there.
sustain me, and that's going to be bioavailable for that moment, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a safety mechanism.
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough, Any more, we've got to process more, it's going to be more hard work, etc.
Yeah.
So that's what I was kind of getting from that. That's already built in.
100%, yeah. And it's the same thing for a big one that a lot of people struggle with is rest,
Yeah.
Burnt out, tired,
Yeah.
already smashed.
Insomnia. How many people have insomnia?
Oh, I can only assume so much.
Yeah, I hear that about that all the time. I was intrigued by that because rest is just so important.
So important.
All these repair and growth and things that you beyond even my comprehension that are happening for your body to recover and recuperate.
Yeah.
On that level.
Yeah.
So, but it's the basic things.
It is
right?
the basic things, but I think we live in such a society at the moment that is, more is good.
Yeah.
Push. Gotta grind. Even when you're tired, you just keep.
You gotta keep grinding, boy. You gotta keep hustling. Yeah. Yeah, because that's just we've talked about that before. Success is determined by. The more successful you are, the more happy you're going to be, right?
Yeah.
I better correct it before someone out there screaming at their podcast player that I got it so wrong. That it is to do with hunger, but it's actually the one that makes you hungry.
Oh,
yeah, ghrelin's a hormone produced in the gut. It's often termed the hunger hormone and sometimes called lenomyrilin. It travels through your bloodstream into your brain where it tells your brain to become hungry and seek out food.
right.
I can't remember what it is that gives you the
satisfied feeling.
Yeah,
It's
satiation. Then I brought up leptin too.
Leptin. Oh, what is?
But it's predominantly made by adipose cells, that's fat cells, and in the small intestine helps to regulate energy by inhibiting hunger. Okay, bang, you got it right. Yeah, that inhibits hunger. Yeah. And that's the one we don't often. Now I remember. Yeah, it was leptin, and so leptin will come out to inhibit hunger in the right times, but you can't. It'll never come out if you always have high insulin. Yeah. That's why I think people who this is me on I am not a doctor, but I think when people go on a protein diet and they satiate that sensation of needing to eat because they haven't carbohydrate/insulin spiked in their blood, and so therefore they don't come off that roller coaster ride. They maintain a level of energy, a flat level of consistent energy because they've gone high protein or they've gone carnivorous or they've gone Atkins or something like that. Low carb. Then because they're not dipping, then they get a chance to produce leptin and it goes, I just don't feel hungry.
Yeah. I find the diet that best works for me is high protein, high fat. Use fat as energy. And I only have carbohydrates, not only, but I choose to have carbohydrates mostly when after a workout, when you've completely depleted the glucose stores and you're needing
the glycogen.
And you're needing that energy again. But if I eat carbs all day, I get sleepy. I get real sleepy.
Right.
Because it used to be
gluggy.
that carbohydrates were the number one thing for performance, right?
Yeah.
Energy.
And I think that completely depends on what type of performance you're doing.
Yeah.
Especially
it also depends on your body type and your genes and how you respond to it.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
Hey, what do you think of fasting or intermittent fasting? Because we tend to overload the body with so much food. Like you're saying more. Feed the machine, machine.
I think like all diets, it's a process. And you pick the process which best fits your lifestyle. Intermittent fasting is one of them. I think it's a great way to isolate your eating window. So it gives you restrictions on when to eat.
Yeah.
Because I tried it, right?
Cool.
Great results. Great results. I did it for like 2 months. But then it just stopped fitting into my lifestyle because I wasn't eating till like 11 a.m., 12 p.m.
You were having a 16-hour window, weren't you?
Yeah, 16
I remember you telling me.
In between meals.
What's that?
16 hours in between meals?
Yeah, you were going 11, you would eat between 11 and 4.
That's right.
And then from 4 through till 10-ish.
Yeah.
I think, what does that work out, 16 hours?
Yeah.
My math's terrible.
But it wasn't working because I had clients from 6 a.m. right to 11. And by the time like 9 a.m. hit, and it's physical being a personal trainer carrying all the weights.
Yeah.
I'm smashed.
Because those clients of yours wouldn't carry them.
do you get the weights?
But I was smashed. But anyway, back to your question. Good. If it fits your lifestyle, great. Really good for people who skip breakfast anyway.
Yeah, because there's this whole thing about breakfast is not important, not your most important meal of the day.
Yeah, that's
there's
right.
This whole
and
counter.
If you eat too often, people have said there's a higher cancer risk profile. Yeah.
So
I am not a doctor.
No, just think. But you said it worked for you for that short period. of time.
For that short period of time.
Yeah.
So it's just completely lifestyle contextual, I believe.
Lifestyle.
There are so many good diets out there that are, I think, best viewed as therapy diets.
What?
There are so many good diets that are best viewed as therapy diets.
What is that?
Well, if you would accept that ultimately balanced eating, maybe to a certain flavor or style or trend is fine, but balanced by and large is the best way to live, then that almost kind of rules out any of these other fad diets that exist.
Yeah.
But what I think is good about some of those fad diets is that they offer a dramatic change for that person to push them through a period of time. So like you said, you did the fasting for a couple of months.
Yeah, I agree. And I think
it's a good therapy diet for a couple of months.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't do a therapy forever.
No, yeah.
And that's what I think of veganism too. I think it's awesome for a couple of months. But if you lived on it, I think
and some people are okay living on it, right?
Yeah, some people can. But I just think it becomes harder and harder to do.
Yeah. I think it's a good way to really experiment what works for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah, because everyone's different.
Yeah.
And you can't just go, this one thing works for everyone.
Yeah. And it goes back to that self-analysis, bro. Like, you figure out what good things about intermittent fasting work for you, what good things maybe the carnivorous diet work, what good things about paleo, and then you end up creating your own. I think often people will box themselves into it.
Yeah.
Just like, oh man, no, I can only eat vegetables, even though like my body is craving red meat.
Well, that's why I said that about veganism, because there are people who are just not suited to it.
Not suited,
and then
to
there are
it.
people who are so suited to it.
Yeah.
It's like...
And it's like, oh, I don't want to eat it because I'm telling people that I'm vegan.
But if I
really want
because
that.
they've identified with it now.
Yeah.
It's become their personality.
Yeah.
It's become their personality.
Well, because, and it's...
Well, it's a little bit like, you know how to spot a CrossFitter, right?
Yeah.
They tell you they're a CrossFitter.
Ha ha ha.
Fuck off, you're not a CrossFitter.
I know I'm not a CrossFitter, but it's just like, yeah.
That cynical laugh was for all your CrossFitting friends. Yeah, I get it. Represent. No, but
it's true though.
Yeah, it's true though.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, and it's a little bit like that with the religious zealot type approach to certain fad diets or veganism. Yeah.
If Reebok is listening, can you sponsor the show, by the way? Because I wouldn't mind some more Reebok gear.
How do we jump to Reebok?
Because CrossFit is aligned with Reebok.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
just contact us on realityhub.love.
That's such an interesting concept that people pick diets for an identity shift rather than the process of finding what works for you.
It's real. It's very real.
Oh, God, I've heard people talking about it and such, they embrace it with such fervor and fanaticism, and it becomes like
activism.
Wow, it's like an activism, or it's like kind of mental ill health because because it's so extreme. Come on,
okay,
like it's
I'm
just
listening.
anything that's super duper extreme. You sort of go, oh, oof, okay. Yeah.
Because what you're saying, this is where food wars come in. Everything is black or white. It's us against them. So if you're vegan, you just hate the opposite, right? And vice versa. So you join one camp or the other. There's no middle ground. There's no nuance. You either are,
Yeah.
So that's the problem that occurs. Rather than saying, hang on a minute, they could all work. A combination could work. And when you're aligned to just one thing, there's no room for open-mindedness and putting yourself in the other person's
100%.
shoes and going, oh, actually, you have a point. Yeah, I see and I agree. I don't have to agree with you, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But the fanatical side of it is it's this or that. That's it.
Yeah, man, you said
See the
it.
role.
That's right.
And the shaming that sometimes goes with it too. Like I have a friend who's vegan, and he was always posting on his Instagram, "Would you eat your dog? Would you do this?
Yeah.
Would you?" And I was like,
Well, no, the
"Man,
answer is yes. I mean, if I was really fucking hungry and I was in the desert, a little little tiddles is going to have to go.
yeah." But by doing that, I was like, "Man, that doesn't make me want to jump on your team, bro."
No, it
makes you
doesn't.
feel
It
guilty.
doesn't.
Yeah, I'm
on your
just
own. It's like a sin, which sounds like another kind of thing.
Yeah, is your goal not to get people on board your side because you want to save the environment or the animals?
And I get it.
That does not make me want to do that.
Oh, linking veganism with the environment doesn't even really make sense either, to my way of thinking. I mean, the damage that monoculture does, right? The damage to the environment that huge fields of soy or wheat or whatever, over a few cows that you're going to, blame on global warming because they farted.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. And if life is life and we accept that, animals have feelings, which I do, by the way, I'm going to go a little woo-woo on it and say, I think,
do it.
Fucking trees and plants, man, are life forms.
Yeah.
You think they don't feel pain? They totally feel pain. There are studies that prove the intelligence of plantation.
Absolutely.
And to say that, when you kill something, you're a bad guy because you should have killed this other thing, which was a plant. It's like, well, okay. Just because you can't hear it scream doesn't mean that you didn't cause it pain. So if that's the grass, that's the brass knuckles sort of down, what's the word I'm trying to say? Brass tacks, that's it. That's the bottom of the issue is causing pain to another being. Well, because an animal appropriately raised on a free-range sort of open-aired, sort of grass-fed diet, it lives a great life until one day a bolt's put through its head and it doesn't see that coming. So, it's a great life up until that moment.
The treatment of animals and the humane treatment and stuff. But you're right, because everything on this planet is a life form. It has a different expression and energy to it, right? So, I mean, a plant is a living, breathing organism, right?
Yeah.
But, it's convenient just to focus on a particular group and then just that's the way it is kind of thing.
Yeah, so the problem with those arguments that are made about would you kill your pet? Well, no, you probably wouldn't. But it's a flawed argument because everything is life. And unfortunately, this is the system we're in.
And we're in a total consumeristic planet because everything's eating something. Whether you go into the water, fish are eating other fish, whether you've got insects eating other things in the wild. I mean, everything is eating something in order to survive. Well, how do you survive?
So is the issue then just overconsumption?
No, the issue's balance. Because balance produces a calm and a centeredness, and going one way with the pendulum this way and going complete veganism, or going the other way with the pendulum and going complete carnivorism or whatever, is not balance.
It's not balanced.
And that'll be proven in your trips to the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you can put that on top of anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The balance.
Yeah.
Output, input, rest, recovery.
Yeah.
Recharge. Let's come up with other R words.
Rob.
Brilliant. Always thinking of yourself, Rob.
Well, that's the first word I can think of.
Oh, gosh. So is it true to say that people were going crazy at the gym with New Year's resolutions and then fizzled out, or didn't you not see it at your gym?
No, they definitely came. I think people are just starting to get back from holiday, actually. But I'm seeing a lot of new faces as well. I'm all for it, But like I said, channel that new energy towards what's in front of you, not what's all the way down maybe 6 months later.
Yeah.
It's not on the goal. You should focus on your habits. Have the goal in the back of your head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Focus on what you're going to do today and then tomorrow.
Breaking it down into small steps that are achievable.
That is the only way to win.
Yeah, and celebrating those that 1 week after another week and hanging in there.
Yeah. Success is an inside job.
Oh, man, that's good. Success is an inside job.
Yeah.
Well, I like that.
And then, because you don't want all the hard work undone from the gym session, right? So if you got to get all the components in place.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So if you're not resting enough, not eating properly, doing all the other stuff outside of the gym, then it's going to affect the results in the gym.
That's correct. Yeah. That's correct. It all comes into one.
Yeah. So it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle.
100%.
So, Marwin, anything else you want to tell us about?
Oh man, I'm pretty good. I enjoyed the conversation today.
What I liked about when we had you on the first time, and it had been months since.
When was that exactly?
Well, it was a few episodes ago, right? You were episode 8, I think.
Yeah.
Can you look it up, Rob? See, because then get it wrong. But we had you on as our first guest, but we recorded in early, March or something, or April.
So that's when
2019, and then we put it out many, many months later.
Yeah.
And what I liked about that was you were driving, and we had you on the phone, and you went, so anyway, what I learned this week was, you just dived straight into it.
Yeah, thank you for actually reminding me. Off topic a little bit, but something that I realized just recently. I was born in the Philippines. I came here when I was 5 years old. Pretty much raised in the Kiwi social climate, right? When I speak to my parents, I talk in a Filipino accent.
Do you?
Yeah, 100%. But when I talk to other Kiwis,
awesome.
I speak in this accent.
Right.
And then I started to ask myself, 3 years ago, I was like, who am I and what is my real accent? And which part of me is authentic, which is inauthentic? Am I just putting on this Kiwi accent to try and impress these people so I can be just like them? Because the people who are at home are actually, my family, my sense of belonging. Yeah. But then I speak differently to them. And I was having a yarn to Marianne Infante, shout out to you. And I was like, I'm still dealing with that. What's authentic mean? What's not? Which accent is the real me? And she goes, it's got nothing to do with who you are. It's just a matter of survival, being able to communicate. I speak to you in this accent because it's the most efficient way for us to understand each other.
Yeah.
If I was to speak in my Filipino accent, there's friction now. So it was more of a matter of survival and communication rather than who am I?
Yeah. That's so cool.
And
cool.
I just feel so much lighter for it now.
You're not being fake.
Not being fake.
Not being fake at all.
Because I never, deep down in my heart, I was like, I'm not being fake. I'm being authentic. But then at the same time, why does this different sounds come out though?
Well, yeah, but also you're an actor, so
but I'm not trying to act in real life.
I know, but you're probably very good at doing accents. So there you go. I want to see Marwin doing a very posh British accent.
Posh,
very posh, Yeah.
That's interesting, man. Because my mother's Dutch, but I don't speak back to her in sort of a Dutch sort of accent, so to speak. Yeah.
Does she have a Dutch accent?
Of course she does. Yes.
Yes, this is what she sounds like.
Yeah,
yes.
she talks a bit. Yes.
That's why you're so good at it, because you copy that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. Marwin, you're doing a show coming up soon, right?
Yeah. So with you actually.
With what? With me? Am I in it?
Show
What?
plug.
This is the first time I've mentioned it on air, is it? I think maybe.
Oh, really? Well, yeah. So we're bringing Morningstar back. There's a few shifts in the roles and who's playing them, but so we're going back in the Hamilton Gardens this time around.
Yep.
In a beautiful space in the Italian garden.
Well, and I think, what is it? It's the Medici Court within the Italian Gardens, and it's amazing because it's an amphitheatre and it has 3 or 4 levels. I'd highly recommend that if you come to the show, which you can book at Hamilton Garden Arts Festival website, which is hgaf.co.nz, and then look for Morningstar. But I highly recommend that if you come along, you bring something in case it rains, because the show will go on regardless.
Yes.
And bring a cushion, because those
and sunblock.
maybe sunblock at the end of the day, because it'll be sun right on top of you. Yeah.
Well, just from a technical point of view, how's the lighting situation on that when you're on that stage?
Well, it's awesome because the theatre is this perfect little stone amphitheatre.
Right.
And you can talk at quite a soft little level and be heard by everyone.
Yeah.
In the audience, and it's a multi-leveled stage too, because the Medici Court has 2 levels and a couple of side entrances. So it's great for actors coming in and out and going in and around and performing on the mezzanine level and on the ground level. and as the sun sets, our show comes to an end. So we've timed it to finish within natural light at the end of the day.
Okay, so that's going to be my question. What?
It's a 6 p.m. start.
That's why I said about the lighting. If it's
Gotcha.
sun's set and you start in light, like what's the...
I think we figured that we start at 6 p.m. and the sun sets at 8, but the show finishes by about 7:40, so we still have 20 minutes of natural light.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
You got to think about these things when you're in the theatre world.
Yeah. So what amazing character are you playing in the show this time?
I played Lucifer, so I played the guy who comes home and he's unhappy that Dad has left him.
Yeah. And of course, Dad is God.
Yeah.
And I play your brother.
Yeah, my loving, beloved brother.
Archangel Michael, who just wants order and peace and everyone to play by the book. And you're kind of messing things up a bit, going, whoa, hey.
Let's try something new.
Yeah. That's a good show, and I hope people come along and book and come and see us. It'll be a lot of fun at the Hamilton Gardens Arts Festival.
What's the dates?
27, 28, 29th February.
Sweet.
Yeah. Which
That's just around
Thursday,
the corner.
Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Just around the corner.
weeks.
We're right in the middle of rehearsals right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So, I think that's probably the end of our episode today.
Perfecto.
Yeah.
Good having you here, Mark.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for having me
Another
again.
good chat.
Yeah, hard. I look forward to coming back.
Yeah. We'll look forward to having you back soon too. All right, everyone. We'll see you on next week's episode.